The 5th annual Ironworkers Impact Labor Management Conference got down to official business Monday morning, as General President Walt Wise kicked things off by reminding everyone that the goal of this meeting is to put more and more ironworkers to work. He cited many of Impact's landmark advances over the years and said it will be important to keep moving forward as industry partners to double market share in the next 9 years. Management co-chair Bill Brown followed, expressing satisfaction that funding Impact is now officially part of the way ironworkers and contractors do business. He also stressed the continuing importance of the regional advisory boards, saying much of the content of this year's conference was RAB inspired. Impact CEO Eric Waterman followed up on the RAB theme and talked about the welcome addition of 3 new regional advisory boards in Canada. Making note of the true partnership of this year's event, Waterman pointed to statistics, saying the attendance figures reflected almost a 50-50 balance between ironworkers and their contractor and customer partners. Ironworkers work hard because it's the right thing to do, and the promise of retirement keeps us going. But our pensions have fallen on hard times, as during a panel discussion chaired by President Wise and Mr. Brown, those problems and their possible solutions were discussed.
Now you know what's in your bank, and if you want more money in your bank, you work more hours. So it's an incentive for an individual to say, I want to be an ironworker, this is what I want out of my retirement, this is what I'm going to do.
I think if you're an active ironworker working, you want to know how much of my money is going to pay for the past. And if I'm paying for the past, and that's something that I want done because I want someone to help me out when I reach retirement age, is that going to solve the problem? Because if it's not, you don't want to throw, good money after bad.
Ask 10 ironworkers and 10 contractors about the economy and whether it's better or worse in 2012, and you get just about as many different answers. Anirban Basu, the humorist economist, hoped to make sense of it all.
Well, the economy is steadily improving. The unemployment rate is falling, job growth is up, gross domestic product is expanding. Most state economies are participating in the recovery. And I would expect the same this year as we saw last year. Steady, slow, frustratingly slow, agonizingly slow growth, including in terms of construction activity.
He went on to say that he believes the U.S. is poised for a, quote, few big years, but that not until later in the decade will it happen. Lee Worley talked training and the challenges it's going through to stay relevant and valuable. The morning session wrapped up on a historic note, the signing ceremony signaling a new era between the ironworkers and the American Subcontractor Association. Walter Bazan did the honors for the ASA.
I'm here with the 3 principals of this morning's signing ceremony. Bill, tell me a little bit about the document you signed today.
Well, we signed a strategic alliance with our new partners, the ASA. The ASA is probably one of the leading voices in prompt pay and subcontractor issues. Most of our contractors in this room are subcontractors, so it's going to be a great benefit.
President Weiss, what does this mean for your industry?
Well, when you look at our contractors, the bulk of them are small contractors and our subcontractors on the job. The association we have going to give a great benefit, so we speak with a common voice for their issues, which are our issues, and gives us great opportunities for our iron workers, for the work that Impact does and the iron workers do to get before the more subcontractors.
Mr. Bazan, your thoughts on the alliance and where you hope things go from here?
Well, with the alliance, I think it'll give us greater clout when we're working with the government agencies for whether it's the Congress, local governments, state governments, or through regulatory agencies. It'll give us a lot more clout to have this alliance.
Gentlemen, we're keeping you from lunch, so with that, we'll send it off to lunchtime in the KPIs.
As is custom, the midday break came in the form of a KPI luncheon hosted by General Secretary Eric Dean. Winning the Eagle Award of KPI Excellence are Locals 172 in Columbus, Ohio, and Local 769 in Ashland, Kentucky for their work in 2010, and Locals 12 in Albany, New York, and 700 in Windsor, Ontario for 2011. The conference is off to a fast start and a valuable one at that, so says a few of the attendees we've talked to so far.
More impressed with how many contractors are here. I think that's something that's really impressed upon me.
It's a win-win for both sides. I mean, we get drug testing, we get certified welders, we get a lot of trained people, we get the information from Washington D.C. down to St. Louis, and we're all, if there's something going on in California, we hear about it in St. Louis. Had it not been for Impact, I mean, it's a communication tool. great. I love it.
You get a perspective of both sides because you need to put yourself in the contractor shoes and you need to put yourself into the iron worker shoes, and it's a good combination and mix once you get those perspectives down.
I love the fact that we're moving forward and not lagging behind. I like the fact that we're making commitments, that we guarantee these owners that we're coming to work for 8 hours a day to give you 8 hours pay. Give me 8 hours pay, I'll give you 8 hours work pay.
I'm an ex-iron worker. In 1960, I became a journeyman. My union book number is older than 90% of the people in that room. I used to be ashamed of being an iron worker that we didn't have some national organization that led credibility and leadership and the new competencies that are going to be needed. With the advent of Impact and the leadership under Joe Hunt and now Walt Wise and Eric Waterman and Bill Brown, I'm proud to be an iron worker, proud to be a contributing employer to the Impact programs.
The afternoon kept pace with the morning as a series of breakouts were designed to increase collaboration, communication, and consistency from coast to coast. For example, the Ironworker Leadership Panel with their owners and contractors. Let's take a look. This always popular panel, moderated by Bill Brown and featuring the ironworker leadership, is always an open and honest exchange about a variety of topics. This year was no different.
I think this is one of the best parts that we have of the whole conference, whether it's the town hall with our contractors or the town hall with the local unions. There's no replacement for good, honest dialogue, and that's what comes to Impact. Impact is not a Siskumba cheerleading outfit there just to shout yay, yay, yay. It's to solve problems of the industry, and those come about through just direct discussions with them, and that's what we had this afternoon, and that's one of the strengths of Impact, the strengths of this conference.
The other early breakouts included Ironworker IT World, What are IWITs and the IWATs, led by Dan Grove and Lee Worley. Construction apps even an ironworker would love, with Harvey Swift, and Transparency in the Glazing Business, presented by Lyle Hill. Mr. Swift, Mr. Hill, and Mr. Grove hoped attendees would walk away with a little more knowledge than they came in with.
I hope that all of the participants that come and see the breakout session take away from it just a little bit more knowledge about apps and how they work and how they can be applicable both in the management of construction jobs, the supervision of construction, and for the workers themselves.
I'm throwing a couple hand grenades. I'm going to be maybe more transparent than they would like me to be, but I think sometimes you need to stir it up a little bit to get some dialogue and to get some real transparency.
In 2010 and 11, we started to collect trust fund information, employment history information, and then now we put it all together at the end of 2011 and now into 2012, so the business managers have information available at their fingertips via the computer that they never had before.
What the hell is BIM? The steel supply chain? Need more work? Here it is. And I'm already online and I didn't even know it. Rounded out the afternoon.
The importance of, again, the title is simply that, you got to be online, you got to be aware of what people are saying about you, and the moral of that is simply that when you're online, you can help control the conversation that people are saying about you.
Ian, what the hell is BIM?
BIM stands for Building Information Modeling. It's basically a new process in the construction industry where we, instead of using drawings to transfer the data, we put all the information into one model, one IT-based model. We're at Teclar, a software manufacturer, and our customers use this, our software to create a model, which then people like steel fabricators, erectors, site foremen can add information like when stuff was erected, when stuff appeared on site, into the model for tracking and reporting and all of these kind of purposes.
Things are off to a great start here at the 2012 Ironworker Impact Labor Management Conference. That's it for today's recap, but don't forget to tune back in tomorrow as we'll have another one ready to go. See you then. Tuesday morning kicks off at 7:30 with a brief update from Joel D'Andrea with the Specialized Carriers and Rigging Association, a large association that employs large numbers of our members. Next up is the Executive Director of Safety and Health, Steve Rank. Steve is not only going to review the 12 most hazardous activities in our dangerous industry, he's going to explain yet another Ironworker Impact First initiative. Our goal is to have 0 fatalities on the job site And Steve will go over some of the things we're going to be doing in this very important awareness campaign. What we're doing to make fabrication shops more competitive will be the topic of a presentation hosted by Impact's Director of Education and Training, Rick Sullivan. Joining Rick will be Tony Walensik, the Executive Director of the Shop Department. I'll give you one little sneak preview. You already know about our foreman training program. Well, we're in the process of developing lead man training for shops. Though I may be starting to sound like a broken record, here comes yet another first at this year's meeting. Vic Cornelier, the president of TSI Exterior Wall Systems and co-chair of our National Training Fund, will be hosting a presentation with developers from around the country. It's our chance to hear firsthand what's coming down the pike where commercial real estate is concerned. Next up, our friend with the NMAPC, Steve Lindauer, will moderate a panel discussion that grows every year in the number of owners and the diversity of our customers who take part. And who better than Impact's own Kevin Hilton to get in the ring with iron workers and contractors? His session will have two parts, one where our business managers have the floor, and a second where the contractors get to have their say. Inspiration is sure to be the order of the day when we hear from disabled veteran Josh Blyle, who will be visiting us at lunch. Tuesday afternoon features one session of 4 breakouts and wraps up around 3:15. That ambitious agenda concludes with the labor management portion of the conference.